In the wake of D'Angelo's death at 51, following his quiet battle with pancreatic cancer, the world of music fell silent. But the most profound silence came from his home, from the hearts of the three people who knew him not as an icon or legend, but as Dad. His children, son Michael Archer Jr., daughter Emani Archer, and youngest son Morocco Archer, became the torchbearers of his memory, stepping forward to honor a man whose genius belonged to the world, but whose love belonged to them. Their tributes, filled with grace, vulnerability, and honesty, gave the world a glimpse of D'Angelo not as the reclusive musical prophet, but as the gentle, complex, and deeply loving father he was behind closed doors. Michael Jr., the eldest, was the first to speak publicly. His tribute came through a moving essay shared on social media, paired with a black and white photo of him sitting beside his father's piano. The caption read simply, "For the man who taught me rhythm before I could even walk." His letter was long and heartfelt, written in a voice that echoed both grief and pride. "My father lived his life in the shadows because he was never chasing fame," he wrote. "He was chasing truth. The same truth he taught us, to be real even when it hurts, to love deeply even when it breaks you." Michael Jr. spoke of his father's discipline as a musician and his tenderness as a parent. When he was home, he said, he wasn't D'Angelo the legend. He was Dad, the man who made breakfast on Sundays, who stayed up all night showing me how to find chords that felt like sunrise, who said, the greatest thing you can ever do is make people feel something. He described growing up surrounded by instruments, stacks of vinyl, and the constant hum of creation. Our home wasn't just a house, he wrote, it was a temple of sound. My father believed music was prayer, and he prayed a lot. He recalled that D'Angelo never forced music on his children, but allowed them to discover it naturally. He'd say, when you're ready to play, the song will find you. And he was right. Michael Jr. also spoke about his father's struggles, his absence during difficult years when addiction and exhaustion pulled him away from family life. There were times when I didn't understand why he disappeared, he admitted. I was angry. But when I grew older, I realized he wasn't running away from us. He was fighting for himself, fighting to come back whole. His words carried forgiveness and deep understanding. He told me once that the hardest part of being human is learning to forgive yourself. I hope he knows we forgave him long before he left this earth. D'Angelo's daughter, Emani, shared her tribute a few days later, a poem titled The Quiet Between Notes. It read like a song, lyrical, spiritual, and filled with imagery that only a child raised by a poet of sound could create. You taught me that silence was music too, she wrote. That love doesn't always need words, just presence. You spoke through the hum of your guitar, the warmth of your hugs, the way your eyes softened when you looked at us. She described her father as both warrior and healer, a man who carried the world's pain in his voice but never let it break him. He taught me that sensitivity isn't weakness, it's power. Emani revealed their deep connection, one that transcended distance and silence. You weren't always here in body, she continued, but you were always here in spirit. Every time I close my eyes, I still hear your voice telling me, find your own rhythm, baby girl. And I will, Dad. I will. She described visiting him in his final months, sitting quietly by his hospital bed as he hummed unfinished melodies under his breath. Even when he was weak, the music didn't stop. He would tap his fingers against the blanket, whispering chord progressions he still wanted to record. He said, there's always one more song to sing. That's who he was, a man whose heart never stopped creating. Her poem ended with a line that broke hearts everywhere. The music didn't die with you, Daddy. It just changed keys. Morocco, the youngest of the three, was only a teenager, but his tribute carried wisdom beyond his years. He shared a short video of himself playing piano, performing a soft instrumental inspired by his father's favorite song, Africa, The video ended with him whispering, "For you, Pops." In the caption, he wrote, "My dad told me music is the language of heaven. I think he's speaking it now." In a later interview, Morocco described his father as quiet, but he saw everything. He said, "When I played something wrong, he didn't correct me. He'd just smile and say, 'You'll find the right note if you listen long enough.' He made me believe that mistakes are just the beginning of truth." Together, the three siblings organized a private musical tribute in the same Virginia studio where D'Angelo recorded much of Voodoo. They invited a small group of family and close friends, musicians who had worked with him for years. The evening was not about mourning, but celebration. Michael Jr. played bass, Emani sang softly, and Morocco handled the keys. They performed some of their father's most intimate songs, The Root, Higher, and Really Love, reinterpreting each through their own emotions. Between songs, they shared memories. Michael recalled his father playing wordless lullabies on guitar when they couldn't sleep. Emani remembered him teaching her to meditate before performing, to let the spirit in before the sound comes out. Morocco shared how his dad never cared about awards or fame, only about making something that would last longer than time. He used to say, "If it's honest, it's eternal." I didn't get it then, but now I do. The night ended with an old voicemail D'Angelo had left years ago on Michael's phone. His warm, soulful voice filled the room. "Hey, it's your dad. Just calling to say I love you. Keep playing, keep feeling, don't ever stop." The room fell silent as those words echoed, followed by tears and applause. Afterward, Emani posted a final message on behalf of her brothers and herself. "Our father belonged to the world, but we were blessed that he first belonged to us. He gave us music, but more than that, he gave us meaning. His love was quiet, his lessons loud." Will Carey, both their tributes painted a portrait of D'Angelo the world rarely saw, a man of deep tenderness, vulnerability, and love. To fans, he was a mysterious genius who revolutionized soul music. To his children, he was the man who taught them how to find light in darkness, who showed them that truth and love are the only songs worth singing. Michael Jr. carries his father's discipline, Emani his emotional depth, and Morocco his playful curiosity. Each of them holds a part of him, not just his talent, but his spirit. As time passes, their voices, instruments, and memories will continue his story, not as myth or legend, but as a man who gave his children the most sacred inheritance of all, the courage to live truthfully and love completely.